try this then. So, trying out microphone, Bandicam. So when you're trying the screen in the top left corner, you know how good this camera is on the laptop. Find it, just see how it works. It's good instructions of the video. This, but I'm just playing about really. Gonna try ChatGPT. Just gonna get it to choose a certain topic, talk about it, and that's it. Um, so let's try this. So I've already said hello. You can see all the stuff I've been looking into recently. There's a few interesting things there. That's to do with the Chasing Rory video. Trying to put on some weight. As I learned recently, mass moves mass. So um, trying to work out a way of bulking, but in a cost-effective way, and how many calories I actually need to bulk because I weigh probably just under 70 kilograms. I'm 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in that region, and I struggle to put on weight. I've got a really fast metabolism. Some people say it's lucky. I mean, it'd be nice if I could put on a little bit of weight as where mass moves mass. So if I can hit the ball a bit harder, a bit faster, using the mass behind it, um, I reckon I can probably gain just a bit of swing speed if I just added 5 to 10 kg. I know that makes it sound easier said than done, but 5 to 10 kg. Anyway, let's see if I can get started. So, how can I help today? Let's just try this. Yeah, let's do this. It's quite an interesting topic actually. Psychology, obviously. Mm, This is number one. Given the size of the age of the universe, intelligent life should be common. Why haven't we seen any signs yet? Here's where it gets fun. The possible explanations range from logical to absolutely mind-bending. True one. They're out there, but we haven't noticed. The zoo hypothesis. Aliens should be exist. The cosmic gorillas in the enclosure. They're too different to recognize. Maybe alien communication isn't radio waves at all. It could be. It's interesting when you talk about this because imagine if aliens did send radio signals, but sent it 2,000 years ago, and we weren't developed enough to actually understand um, radio signals at the time. So we could have completely missed aliens, and they just thought there was no life on Earth, nothing intelligent enough to come in contact with. So, say we're 2,000 years, a million years, however long it is. Yeah, we could have just missed out on them. Um, Quite interesting. I'd love to see aliens in my lifetime. I mean, there's so many things that are hard to explain anyway on Earth. Like everyone always goes on about the pyramids being um, designed by aliens. I think they could possibly be by the fact that they perfectly face northeast, southwest. Um, the fact that they all line up perfectly. The fact that we still don't have an explanation of how they move. Um, 3 ton, I believe it's 3 ton bricks up an incline like that. The technology at the time couldn't explain how they did it. I've sort of saw something like they need something like a mile long ramp to just move one block up a meter or something silly like that for and yeah, and apparently it took ridiculous amount of manpower. So it'll be interesting to see uh, if they can ever actually explain that. Too far away. The Milky Way is big. I mean, the universe is 13.5 billion years old, and we can see the Big Bang, but the universe is huge. Like, and for all we know, it keeps on expanding. The fact that there's, I mean, there might be intelligent life. More than likely, will be more intelligent life than us on Earth. Not Earth in the universe. Shows that like they could be trying to explore that as well. They could have died out trying to explore dark matter, so explore but black holes. They could, who knows? Um, and they could be. I mean, if their technology is anything better than ours, then they could be here right in front of us, and we'd have no idea. Would be what that the zoo hypothesis is trying to suggest. I mean, you look at chimpanzees, and they share what 98 to 99% DNA with us, and so that 1 to 2% difference in DNA, the most intelligent thing we've ever seen a chimpanzee do is really like move those coloured blocks. I forget what the game's called, from block to block, and I mean, we've been to the moon. I mean, some people disagree with that, but we've been to the moon. I mean, you look at someone like Elon Musk now, who's investigating Mars, and guessing that we could possibly have life on Mars eventually. And as I say, so that was a 1 to 2% difference in DNA there. Imagine if there's um, a life form that's 1 to 2% just better than us. I mean, the capabilities and intelligence they might have be how we look at monkeys, like what they'd have no idea that we've even been to the moon. They probably use it, and they're one of the most intelligent animals there is. So, um, and we're just that 1 to 2% better in DNA, argue more intelligent. So, uh, aliens could definitely possibly be living among us, and we'd have no idea. Um, let's have a look. Life is really rare, really. Yeah. There's one dramatic filter exists that stops most life from reaching intelligence. It could be the jump from single cell to multi-cell, leap to tool use, surviving technical or self-destruction. Earth is just exponentially lucky. Also, but I think the universe is just unfathomably big that it's unlikely that we are that rare, that we are the most. It'd probably be incredibly egotistical to think that we're the most intelligent life forms in the universe, considering how big the universe is. I mean, it's actually impossible to really think about the fact that something could be expanding faster than the speed of light. I mean, the speed of light, yeah. When you think how long it would even takes to go to the moon or go to Mars, I believe I heard it will take approximately to move someone to Mars. It'd take approximately 9 months in what we consider like one of our well, like if we could design a spaceship to take us to Mars at the moment, it takes someone 9 months to move just to go to Mars on a spaceship. So think about even going to the sun, going going out the Milky Way, how long it actually takes to travel. So you got yeah. So you got some of the resources that some a planet or other life might have might be nowhere near as it might just not be worthwhile coming to visit us. We might not have the resource. We might have not the might not have the intelligence to even be worth visiting. Um, so yeah, unlikely. I would say that we're the only intelligent life, and that's quite exciting. Anyway, weird stuff. We're in a simulation. Um, I listened to a recent podcast with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and he spoke about the fact he believes that we're most likely in a simulation. I mean, you look at the I mean, the world now just seems crazy. Like there's so much going on all the time that it seems like you see so much in the news all the time. There's something new going on. So it would seem so well designed in the fact that it's an entertainment for someone. I mean, uh, we have people build biomes um in their own houses in their own home. So you can build biomes, and these animals and bugs would have no idea that they're choosing which lives to go which different um insects and bugs go together and what. So it's quite interesting that fact that we can do that when these insects would have no idea. We're probably the same. We think we're intelligent because we're the most intelligent form of life form. Even now, like we say that it's still some intelligent animals. We think we're intelligent, but who knows? I mean, Um, who knows if we even have free will, and the fact that free will doesn't matter even if you don't have free will, because the fact it wouldn't matter because you don't have any choice at that point. It has no relevance. You won't, because you don't have free will. You don't have free will. We don't make our decisions then. So um, the it's quite. I think that's probably our most likely. I think reason why we're here and what we're doing. Um, I mean, even simple stuff. I think again, Elon Musk was explaining if the gravity was 20% less, we'd be able to move to planets very easily. If the Earth had 20% less gravity, we'd be able to propel use fuel rockets much easier. But again, we're probably at the exact right amount of gravity where it's just about impossible, but just about manageable at the same time. If it was like 10%, like if we had 10% stronger gravity, so then we'd we would never be able to leave Earth. So it's interesting. It's like it's been designed perfectly for us to travel. Like it's like it's waiting for us to do that thing that's interesting, or maybe it is no free will, and maybe we're all here, and it's just creating. We're almost like a video game, ready to go, and it's just someone having fun with us. So very interesting. Dark forest theory from Chinese sci-fi. All civilizations hide because the universe is dangerous. Announcing your presence is like shouting in a dark. Interesting. I've never heard that dark forest theory. Very impossible. Very possible. Um, maybe we haven't. Maybe we need to be aware of that. Maybe we need to be. If we keep sending signals, keep sending that we're here, we need to be aware that we could attract the wrong people. Like, it's shown in civilization that all we know is that when the most intelligent life form tends to destroy whatever's beneath it, or overrule it, or take land from. So whatever the most intelligent tends to take over. Um, that's even humans against humans, not just humans against animals. Like throughout history, like for example, even colonization. When you look at how America was formed and how the UK was able to take so much of the world, um, that there's probably a good possibility that other life forms are hiding because there's probably something that powerful out there that you don't want to you don't want to make it aware that they're there so they take over. So yeah. And aliens were here half a million years ago, here millions of years ago. That's a possibility. I mean, who knows that? As we mentioned about the Egyptians could have possibly had help from aliens, and then you look at even the gods that he worshipped. It does seem very well. What our stereotypical alien look like? Who knows what they were worshipping? Saying we talk about um, Egyptian gods and Greek mythology. We call it mythology, but it was their religion. It's what they believed in, and who knows where it came from, where it stemmed from, the actual religion itself. Um, I mean, I think it's probably naive to suggest that all our religions are correct and then their religions are wrong. So, who knows? It's only the fact that we're aware of that we can explain why they believed that Zeus created lightning bolts because there was no explanation for it. But now we can explain that using science. So it almost seems mythology because but it might be the same for religions now. It's like the stuff. I think it's the famous thing in Richard Dawkins' book about the God delusion or God of the gaps. Um, just because you can't explain something doesn't necessarily mean it's God. Um, and that's where we might look back at religions and how we treat people and think maybe we're naive. Maybe it's what we're looking at is the same as how we look at Greek mythology and Egyptian gods now is like it's almost yeah, as you say, mythology. We don't respect it. We don't worry about Zeus. We don't worry about people like that. But we always like people always say, "Oh, God-fearing man" or God-fearing woman." It's like, well, give it. We'll see what science can prove, and then see if God. Well, I'm happy either way if God's real or not. So um, yeah, welcome to which what alien life might actually look like. What proof we might find in the next 20 years. What happened? Would aliens think likely take over? That you broken down into realistic science and scaring scaring. Would aliens be hostile or friendly? We simply don't know, but we can reason about it. Though the strongest arguments from scientists, astrophysicists, and SETI researchers. I have no idea if that's SETI. I'll probably get rinsed for that. I'm not SETI researchers. Which why aliens probably wouldn't invade or take over. Physics makes invasion pointless. Traveling across interstellar space takes centuries to millennia, unbelievable amounts of energy, extremely advanced technology. Any civilization capable of that would have far easier ways to get resources. Asteroids, gas giants, uninhabited moons. Earth is not uniquely valuable enough to justify an invasion. Interesting. Um, I don't think that would necessarily warrant whether something would invade or take over. Maybe they just haven't got round to seeing us. And I mean, we talk about interstellar space, like if it, like I know much about interstellar space, but if you base it on the film Interstellar, there's ways they can travel across the universe using black holes, wormholes, so that you can move really fast amongst that. Maybe they can do that. Um, maybe they are aware of us. But I don't think that necessarily answers whether they could invade or take over because we don't know what resources they have. It takes us centuries and millennia to move, an unbelievable amounts of energy. But if they have an element, if there's a new element on a different Earth, a different planet, not a different Earth, then maybe they can travel faster than us. So that'd be interesting. Any civil scarcity disappears with advanced technology. If they can cross light years, they will likely solve energy scarcity, resource scarcity. That's fair enough. Yeah. But even the way that we feel like even humans now, like we've sort of we even take um pride. Well, we not everyone, but there's people who take pride in having um an elephant's tusk in the house. And who's to say that we wouldn't take pride in taking, I don't know, us or taking someone or um having like hunters have their um, bears and stuff hung up and deers and stuff like maybe we'll be a trophy to them, just showing that oh yeah we've travelled to Earth. Here's an example. Here's someone. Here's something you can almost hang up on the wall as a trophy. Hostility is expensive. Preparation for predation, infiltrating a primitive species like us sometimes. Highly advanced species tend to become more cooperative, more stable, less impulsively violent. Subversions stable and tend not to survive long enough to become space form. Um, I mean, it depends. Like, if we're seen as like insects to them, like even the way we just neglect, they could just live on this planet and just walk all over. Say they were big enough or powerful enough to just walk all over us. Um, like we the way we treat insects and animals is like like they're not they're not they don't have a conscience. We farm animals. We farm um like maybe it's not really maybe an attack on us, but maybe the way that they would treat us might not be the best way. I'm not saying that they'd like attack us, but maybe they could even farm us. Um, I can't remember if they did that in a film War of the Worlds now, but yeah, if they want us gone, we wouldn't see it coming. hostile civilization could wipe a planet out without sending ships. The fact that nothing has ever happened ever in 4.5 billion years suggests that no hostile civilizations nearby or they don't care about us. Well, just we don't know if something's happened in 4.5 billion years, and we wouldn't know. Um, yeah, we wouldn't know it's um if something came and visit us. As I say, we don't know if it's here now, and then possibly they don't care about us. That could be a very likely thing. Or when they did visit us, we were. I mean, as 2,000 years ago, we didn't have enough radio signals. We'd have, and but probably our strongest asset was swords and armor. And then you look at yeah, probably the Egyptians and the Greeks were the most advanced, and the even then, like if they could travel across planets, Greeks are probably been the most important. The fact that they've been able to further like propel maths to a level where we can calculate stuff on an advanced level, like they were at the beginning. Um, that that would be basic to them. So yeah, right. Maybe they don't care about us. There's a realistic, scary scenario. Scientists think an intentional attack is unlikely, but misunderstanding are more plausible, but insignificant but unpredictable. You might treat us like wild animals, bacteria. There we are. That's what I've been suggesting anyway. Wild animals, bacteria, a noisy species they don't understand. Accidental harm is more likely than deliberate hostility. Yeah, that's possibility. Let me not think of it. Goes, oh, they're friendly might not feel friendly to us. Think are non-emotional, pure logical, indifferent. Yeah, I mean, if yeah, if they can't understand empathy or emotions and it is purely logical, then they'd probably just take us for what we are and just if they take anything they need. If they don't need anything, then maybe that would be it. But yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it that they wouldn't have the same empathy that we have. Like other like for example, um, a lion probably doesn't have empathy for a zebra, even though it's killing it. Well, we don't know, but a lion probably doesn't have empathy for a zebra, even though it kills them every single day. And maybe that's the same for alien. Maybe they've been used to, and they've become normalized from a habit to take over other civilizations that probably don't have emotions like we do. Um, and, I mean, some people don't have emotions now, so so far more advanced, we'd have no leverage. This is the scary truth. If civilization a million years ahead, we can assume that we'd understand their intentions or stop them. Um, yeah, more than likely. Yeah, if they can travel to us and we can't travel to them, more than likely, yeah, they're probably far more advanced. And um, but they could be. That doesn't mean they're not hostile. If you're not some form of power, if you don't have some form of power or willing to be a little bit hostile, I mean, if it's anything like on Earth, then you're not willing to be hostile at all, then you'll just be walked all over by someone else. So I'm assuming that there'll be some, um, if, they, if they've got to the place where they are, then they'd probably be out and they've probably been violent or to come up against a different form of a life form as well. Most likely accepted view in science today. Neutral, cautious, potentially friendly interaction, not war. Why? Because conflict is a trait of young civilizations, not ancient ones. And any species that can cross the galaxy is ancient. Conflict is a trait of young civilizations. I guess so. I get you don't you wouldn't. It's unlikely now. You'd see probably. I'm thinking the most developed countries in the world, the ones with the least. Well, assuming non, assuming democratic countries, as you're looking at. Um, the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and I think that the, I mean, you're looking across a lot of Europe. You're looking at, I mean, France, and then If you're looking at maybe the Scandinavian countries, yeah, they're less inclined for violence, but so maybe true, maybe it's yeah, it's over time that just like manners and etiquette and the way we view the world improves over time. Like what we find it socially acceptable changes. Um, I mean, you even look, it used to be seen like acceptable. The reason why how a tablecloth was invented was so that people could blow their noses on the tablecloth. And now, if you blow your nose on the tablecloth at a meal now, you'd be thinking that person's quite rude or um, uncivilized. So quite interesting to see how far we've grown and what how things were actually invented. Yeah, so maybe maybe we hopefully aliens will become more civilized and less violent. Um, want to explore this more, most realistic contact scenario. What humanity's first message should be. I'll probably do. Yeah, we'll go into the dark forest theory. That was quite interesting. I haven't heard much about that. Yeah, maybe we need to be more careful. Maybe we need to be more careful when we're sending signal. We might be sending it to the people that are the destroyers and want to take over. Well, that's it. We watched the series Invincible, and that's what the Viltrumites do. If they find a planet and they take over, they want to be the only species across the universe because they are the most elite and powerful. So therefore, they believe that they can they're the only ones that should have a right to live or reproduce. So yeah, we need to be more aware of where we're sending signals to. Why every civilization stays quiet? You can never know any of this. It becomes a more popular. As the species grows, it becomes a threat by default. More population, more technology, more expense, less space for everyone else. Yeah, maybe it's a survival standpoint. Maybe they're having to the population's expanding at too high of a rate where they need um, more um, habitable planets such as Earth and Mars. Maybe they have the same sort of like um, issues we're probably going to have in a few hundred years, assuming that the population growth increases at a standard rate, even though we're probably worrying about a population decrease at the moment due to lack of re reproduction. Um, but yeah, maybe we need to be aware of that as well. Preemptive strike logic, this is the scary part. Because you can't trust anyone's intentions, you can't predict future behavior. The space is limited. The safest strategy to eliminate any listening, no broadcasting, no signals, no answering back, hiding in silence. We would be too late at that point. Um, why SETI? Messages could be dangerous. According to the Dark Forest idea, broadcasting into space is like shouting your location in the silent forest full of hidden hunters. Other civilizations might hear us, decide to wipe us out before we grow. This is why sometimes they argue we should only listen, we should never send signals, and avoid revealing Earth's position. Unfortunately, we already have. Yep. Yeah, that's what. Yep. Nothing else you can say if that's what's happening, it's too late. Um, Hostile civilization acted. But forest logic says a dangerous alien species would not send ships, they'd send a self-replicating probe, near light speed impactors, rel relativistic kinetic strike, something we'd never see coming once we detected. Interesting. Self-replicating probe, near light speed impactors, relative. Yeah. Well, again, we couldn't do anything about it if, even if we tried. Then it's just done. um, yeah. But problem with this series, there's no point in dwelling on it now. It's already too late. We're already sending signals out. Why does the theory feel so realistic? It doesn't require evil aliens, just rational ones. Survival is priority, silence is rational, striking first is rational. Just, exactly. That's what we do. That's what we assume. That's how, again, colonize the world. We assume that we knew best, or we assume that someone else is going to be dangerous, and that's why we've learned to attack first. Hope for camp. Many scientists say that the dark forest is too pessimistic. Why? Because any species advanced enough to cross the galaxy will likely solve resource scarcity, outgrow violence, prepare cooperation, value stability over conflict. Why humanity should stay realistic. Let's see what it comes up with. Realistic attack. See it coming? That's what they suggested before. Automated relative near light speed, undetectable until impact. No ships, no soldiers, just physics. Most realistic scenarios involve long distance strikes using pure energy and momentum, not weapons we recognize. Visualization thousands of millions of years old, send self-replicating probes, automated system, AI-driven observers. Yeah, mentioned before, yeah, the attempt will be instant. Sudden flash, image. It's a scary way of looking at it, but it'd probably be most likely like if it would be scary to think that we could anything could in second like we'd have no idea. And I mean, hopefully it'd be yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Think of how we deal with harmful bacteria. We don't send tiny soldiers to fight them. We sterilize the area without thinking about it. Why would they even attack? Most scientists agree. They probably wouldn't. Reasons: resource-rich asteroids are far easier than invading planets. Intelligent civilizations likely avoid unnecessary conflict, and stellar travel is expensive. That's that's a possibility, but the only risk that a hostile motive will be defensive. We don't know what you'll become in 500 years, so we can't risk it. Is that's probably I mean, you look at how much we've increased over the last 100 years, and even the way that we've used all that, like how what I am talking to, what I'm on now, or what I'm on GPT. I mean, who said I've heard things. I've heard things on many different podcasts now that suggesting that within many 30 years that most jobs will become irrelevant anyway. Um, makes it seem all pointless what I'm doing now, getting my PGA, doing, having been at uni, trying to get to that point. But like, computer, um, which is far more intelligent than any of us, that can read through um, million research papers in a second. I mean, it'd take me years to read through thousands of millions of research papers. It could do it in seconds. So, um, yeah, it all seems that well now it seems that it's the beginning of AI. And I mean, we look back at how the industrial revolution hit us. Even just farming used to be the biggest industry in the UK. Farming um, it used to take like a few hundred people to run a farm. And then one day someone introduced a tractor, and it lost hundreds of people's jobs. And they were saying, "Oh, well, what do we do now? These tractors aren't good." But now we don't even think about it. We just think tractors, farming. it can take only a few people to run a farm. I mean, some instances with some very talented farmers, it can take just one person. So, uh, with very good equipment, and so to think that what we progress to now, and famous thing is, in I mean, I remember reading Inspector Calls, and you look at I think it's Arthur Berlin where he speaks about. I think it was based in about 1912, and they were building the Titanic, and they were suggesting that 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 life couldn't get any better than this. Everything that can be invented is about to be invented. There'll only be a little bit more, and every civilization, every fish across the UK lived in probably the best possible lifetime in regards to technology. Like technology doesn't tend to deteriorate over time. Um, so everyone thinks they're living in the best possible time, and we are living in the best possible time in regards to, like, I don't have to worry about going out hunting. I can go to the supermarket, and my main worry is, like, it's not the fact that I know I know I'll be able to have enough food to survive. Even, I mean, it's terrible, the homeless, but even then, it's not like they're going out hunting either. It's like they're able to survive based on just off scraps, which is terrible. But in regards to what we got now, but if you look at a few hundred years ago, I mean, if you people used to get on, um, people used to get killed for witchcraft, and um, I mean, if I gave someone a photo, say I went back in time 500 years ago, I gave someone my phone, I'd probably be killed for witchcraft because they'd have absolutely no idea what it is. And it's incomprehensible to think what could be in the future. I mean, you look at what was 100 years ago, and we went through two world wars. Well, we've had two world wars in the last 120 years. Um, and we um, still managed to grow in such an exponential way. I mean, it's crazy that I think that planes, cars, 200 years ago weren't a thing at all, and now we take them for granted. Like, we take the fact take for granted that we can go on holiday, and people people get upset because they can only go on one holiday a year or something, or even none. Like, we're living in such a we're in such a privileged life, um, that even the worst in our society are living within 99% of the population 150 years ago. Um, so, um, and it's not like you're going to be, I'm envious for someone who lives 100 years from now. If they can drive I don't know, what's the most expensive car in the world now? Well, no, they're probably different because they're more collectors, but say a, the most expensive electric car, say, I don't know, a Tesla or a BMW, a Porsche, the most expensive electric cars, um, they'll be available for everyone to drive. Like, we look at what cars we drove 100 years ago, they weren't envious of the fact that we could drive these cars now. Um, and I'm not going to be envious that someone can drive it 100 years from now. So don't be envious that someone has it now that you don't, because someone 100 years ago didn't have any of these luxuries. So that's, I don't know, I've just gone on a complete tangent, but yeah, who knows where we'll be in 500 years. The technology and through AI, we might not even be alive. AI might have killed us off by that point, or we might have killed ourselves off. So, we don't know what will be in 500 years, but I would say we'll be exponentially more intelligent, more civilized, and um, it'd be interesting to just see what survives of what we have now. Probably the only thing that's been consistent over the last thousands of years is that there's been religion, and that's been about it. Like, all societies, and they try and improve. They always try and improve. So, but we're getting to a point where we almost don't need to improve. You don't need, like, now I can just go on AI and just find the answer. I don't need to actually think about the answer. I can find the answer. I can say, oh yeah, GPT, create me a CV, and create me a CV that'll do. I don't even have to think about it. It takes no skill. And that's quite a scary thing in itself, to be honest, because now it's hard to differentiate on paper, on screen, um, who's who's actually any good at what they're doing. And I think that's um, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. I mean, I mean, in 10, 15 years from now, you can probably create a AI version of this, and it can probably say stuff exactly how I would have said it in um, and probably done it faster than what I could. So um, yeah, it's yeah, it's interesting now. So I'm trying to do this to be more authentic and actually have a personality on whether you like my personality, whether you think it's boring, whether you think it's entertaining, whether you don't. I mean, don't slightly, I don't really care, but I'm really just doing this so if people come to me and say, "Well, what's actually what? Like, who are you? What are you?" and then just go, "Yeah, just look." Oh, table then. So yeah, I just thought this is an interesting concept. Probably just going to end the video here. Interesting concept just to get started. I just want to talk. I have one other podcast thing, if that's what you want to call this. One other video on YouTube now. If we got to this point, I'll be very surprised anyway. But um, yeah, it's a starting point anyway. I'm not don't claim to be an unbelievable video creator or editor, so probably not going to edit this video very much, to be honest. I might have to start cutting down how many videos I do just because I'm gonna have to do one good video every 2 weeks or something like that because I'm doing little bits on Instagram and stuff, but especially during the winter period, it's almost impossible for me. Like I now don't have I work in 10 days in a row. It's absolutely fine. That's why I work here. I work to like, I'm happy with where I work and what I'm working as. So, but it gives me very little amount of time to actually film golf related content, which is somewhat frustrating. Like, I haven't been able to play on the golf course in probably 3, 4 weeks, which I mean, it's a luxury for most people, but as a PGA professional and someone who aspires to keep on improving at golf, I'd like to play a lot more than what I'm doing. So yeah, but if you got to this point, I appreciate you listening, and um, yeah, I'm going to create a few more videos anyway, mm, and if yeah, uh, probably I'll probably look back on this and cringe at what I've said, what I've done, but it's all part of it. Um, 1% better each day anyway. 1% better each day. So thanks for listening.